We're live on twitch.tv /Charlie Simons 1, because somebody else had already taken Charlie Simons. Some girl, because I spell my name L-E-E. That's because my middle name is Lee. I'm Charles Lee. But suddenly it's become like, I've had people who thought they'll meet me. We'll be corresponding about being on the show. This has been my entire radio and television career, but especially radio, of course, because, and then they'll hear me on the phone and they'll go, "Oh, I thought you were a woman." Yeah, not. I don't even pretend to be. But all because of the spelling of my name. So it's been both a hindrance and a help, I guess. Makes me stand out a little bit. It makes me stand out as the guy who spells his name like a girl. I am Charlie Simons. Welcome to the big old bad old broadcast. This is Do Not Talk. Talk about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion, or talking to the people they keep telling me I'm not supposed to talk to, including my own California State Republican Party. I've had more than one say, yeah, you shouldn't be putting these other people on who are running for governor of the state of California because, it just confuses things and it's going to split the ticket and blah, blah, drone, blah, blah. Nope. I'm media first, and actually God first, family second, country third. But I am media, and it is my job to bring people to you that nobody else wants to talk to. I really take that seriously. That is my job. David Kallenberg is my guest today. He's running for governor of the state of California. He's going to have to deal with dudes like this. Have you seen this? Watch. Eric Swalwell. He's a congressman from Danville, California. That's the San Francisco Bay Area. We call him the dullard of Danville. Oh, by the way, right here, see where my mouse is, where it says California Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell? Could I please ask my fellow conservatives and Republicans to stop using the name Democratic? Democratic is a form of government. Democrat is the party that worships it. We're not a democracy, by the way. We're a constitutional republic. So that makes Democrats on the out, as far as I'm concerned, right out of the gate. Stop calling them Democratic. The Democratic Party. No, it's the Democrat Party. Democratic is a form of government. Sean Hannity. Anyway, Eric Swalwell, dullard of Danville, is vowing to yank driver's licenses from deportation officers. He's talking ICE, after the state unlawfully issued thousands of commercial licenses to foreign truckers. This guy's running for governor, by the way. He pledged to pull driver's licenses from any immigration and customs enforcement agent that wears a mask if elected to the state's highest office. I will do this. The threats follow the DOT's decision to pull millions in federal funding from the DMV, California DMV, for not revoking 117,000 illegally issued California's driver's licenses to illegal aliens. That's another thing. Conservatives, please stop calling them migrants. They didn't migrate here. They came across the southern border and the northern border and many other ways illegally. They're aliens. They don't live here. They're not citizens. They live here, but they're not citizens. And other foreign drivers, many of whom failed to demonstrate basic English proficiency before hitting U.S. highways. Here's Swalwell's quote. If you harm a single Californian, that's not how he sounds, but that's how he sounds in my mind. If you harm a single California, hire the best lawyer you can afford, because I will bring you to justice. I will use every power in the state to bring you to justice. I will take your driver's license away if you operate in our state with a mask and unidentified. Unquote. Eric, look at him right there. I'll get a lawyer. I'll show you. I'll get a lawyer. I can't wait to talk to David Kallenberg and get his thoughts on Eric Swalwell and how he's going to deal with all of this if he becomes governor of the state of California, the once golden state, on Do Not Talk. Are you ready? Hit it. Yeah. Hello, buddy boy.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you going?
Good, good. Just here at the farm. So,
David is a farmer. Now, I grew up around farmers and ranchers, and it's been my experience, personality wise, farmers get stuff done. And they're not going to be hooting and hollering. They're not going to be slapping you on the back. They're not going to be telling some jokes and laughing and whooping it up. They're more serious folk. The ranchers, on the other hand, we're crazy. But it seems like anybody raising animals are gregarious and almost over the top when it comes to like, dial it down, cowboy. But farmers, no, very, very stoic. Am I wrong?
no, very right. Very true.
Yeah, very right. Exactly. You're looking at crop projections. You're looking at the futures. You're looking at the weather. You have to look at everything. How are we going to do this year? Are we going to actually make a profit on the crop that we're raising? Then you got government subsidies coming in. Do you get any of your whatever you raise? Do you get any subsidies for not raising something else?
No, I don't get anything like that.
This is something that people don't know about, though. They don't realize that farmers will literally get paid to not raise something. And that's government intervention big time because they're going to control the market. They're going to control how much something is worth. They have a long history of pouring out thousands of gallons of milk, pouring it out, disposing of it so that it will inflate the price because it's supply and demand, right?
Yep.
Do you have any other farmers in your area that get subsidies like that?
Yeah, there's some farmers around that the Farm Bureau pays them to fallow ground. It happens.
It's
So,
weird. And you got
yeah.
everybody who's got to say, huh? You got the USDA, you got as you said, the Farm Bureau, then you got your local people and your national, your state, your county, your federal. It's crazy what they've done, and they've driven many people like you out of business. The small farmer can't even compete anymore, and we've got who knows what communist Chinese party swooping in and buying up hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland, and a lot of it near military bases, isn't it?
That's what I've heard. And there's a lot of other countries too doing it, not just China. But
No, well,
this whole
Bill Gates is one of the largest owners of farmland in the nation now. Bill
yeah, I
Gates.
heard some stories he's kind of changing his tune on things too. So I don't
Isn't
know.
that something? I know. That's actually refreshing. I hope it's real. But
Well, when you sit in
welcome.
an office, 1,000 miles from the field, and then you finally get in the field, then you go, "Oh, wow, this is a lot different than being in an office."
Yeah,
So,
it
yeah.
is. And then of course you got your natural occurrences. Weather can take out an entire crop. So especially
Hmm.
if you're raising citrus, an early frost can kill
Yep.
everything. And what
Yep.
do you do with it? You sell it for feed, don't you? Are they able to sell it stuff like that for feed when it's ruined? Not if it
Probably.
has mold on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it still could be made into juice or what. I don't know too much about the citrus market, but
You raise hay, right?
yes, I raise hay and I raise corn and grain, and then I raise cows and pigs.
Oh,
So,
you do? How many head of cattle do you have?
I only have about 30, but I raise about 200 hogs. So not super big on the livestock side, but bigger on the grain and hay side.
It's
So,
my understanding if you're raising hogs, if you're raising swine, it's pretty easy to raise them, easier than it is to raise cattle. And but the smelly as heck. Oh, good heavens, smelly as heck. Um, has that been a lucrative field for you? Must
um,
be because you keep
so
doing it.
so when I got into it about 2 years ago, I just bought sows. So I've been, breeding and raising, hogs to market for meat, and it takes time. So by the time I started raising those hogs, I did replacement sows. I did all that stuff, so I have not yet marketed any hogs for sale. We're very close, so it's been a 2-year project. So hopefully soon we'll start having some stuff for market.
And then there's that. So you tear out, let's say, almond orchards. This happened in Central California. A lot of these farmers who were raising almonds which was not so lucrative at the time until it's really caught on. Now everybody wants their olive orchard or our almond orchards back, but they would tear them out and put in, let's say, grapevines, because suddenly, the grape market was all lucrative because everybody wanted to buy wine, and that was quite the rage for not quite a decade. And then the wine market kind of dropped out, and all of a sudden it just wasn't so trendy anymore. And now you're stuck with these vineyards, and what do you do with all of that? So you never know what the market's going to do too. There's so many different variables when it comes to raising stuff people don't even consider. Crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully
A lot of
we'll
risk
keep eating
involved.
pigs though.
Yeah. So
By the
cows
way,
too.
what now?
So I said, yeah, there's definitely lots of variables in that situation. So it's
So Eric Swalwell, the Dullard of Danville
oh,
in the
well,
San Francisco Bay Area. If you become governor, you're going to have to deal with him and others like him, a whole truckload of those clowns. How do you do it?
yeah. So I've been watching some stuff. I see there's somebody filed a lawsuit that says he can't even run for governor because he's not even really technically a California resident. He's been living in DC. He owns a house in DC, and he registered his lawyer's office here as his address for his governor. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know the guy, can't say anything bad about him, but what I do see him post is like taking people's driver's license for doing their job, whether you agree with it or not. Um, I don't think he's going to get anywhere with that. I don't think he's going to get a bunch of votes because he's going to take somebody's driver's license.
He
Like, get
doesn't have
real.
to though. He doesn't have to. That's what they do on the left, especially. I'm quite convinced 99% of them are all attorneys who are on the left and hold office. They don't have to. They know that all you have to do is sway the jury. And
Sure,
even
for
if it's
sure.
called later on, no, that's inadmissible, or no, overruled. It doesn't matter. That the effect has already been put on the jurors' minds that, yeah, this guy's going to get a lawyer. He's going to show those ICE people they can't wear masks and protect their identity from the people who are trying to destroy them and their families. It's like a freaking mafia. It truly
Yeah,
is like a
and then
mafia.
his biggest campaign thing is he's just going to attack the president. And it's like, when is somebody going to put California and the California people first and quit on these pipe dreams of attacking the president? Like, he's only going to be in there 2 more years when you get into office. And it's like, if you spend all your time doing that, you're never going to get anything done for California. You're never going to make change in California. You're never going to do anything. All you're going to do is be fighting on the news, and it's a waste of time.
How many
So
of our
we,
fellow Californians, though, are actually thrilled and they get a little tingly part in their nether regions whenever somebody says anything bad about Trump?
God, it's sickening.
It
So
is.
it's crazy.
It
It's
is
not my
crazy.
focus. A lot of people ask me, well, what about Trump and this and that? I said, what I'm doing has nothing to do with any president that's there now, was the past or in the future. Like, I am focused on California, California's borders, and I don't care who's president. If it's not good for California, then it's not going to be good. But, I'm not going to make it my mission, even if our good old buddy Gavin gets in there, it's not going to be my mission to go and attack him. Like, it's gonna be my mission to make good for California and do what's best for California. So
That's good. I'm glad. We're both fellow Californians, native Californians, and we want to protect not only protect it but make it better. And we're on a collision course right now. But I don't think that that's by accident. If you can bring down the state of California, you'll bring down the United States of America, which is the ultimate goal of these globalists, these elites. Governor Hairdo Gavin Newsom hanging out with his World Economic Forum buddies, and they've been trained. They've been trained. Here's what we're all going to do to accomplish our goal of the one world government, the new world order, and it's all so satanic. It's satanic, David.
it's
These
pretty
people are
crazy.
doing
So
doing the
did you
devil's
see
work.
the podcast he did with Ben Shapiro? Have you seen that
I have
yet?
not yet. I know that Shapiro was here and that he was going to be doing that, but no, I haven't
Yeah, there's
seen
some
it. Did you?
pretty good clips for that, and um, it's the whole, like, the ICE thing. Um, Gavin Newsom on there basically said, he agrees with ICE and what they're doing, but there's a bunch of rhetoric out there causing big issues and making problems. So it's like, I don't know.
That's another thing on the left. They know that they're candidates. They know who they really are and what they really want and what they'll do if they have tremendous positions of power. They know people, voters on the left know that, and they'll look the other way at one of their little dream candidates saying things that they disagree with because they're like, yeah, they don't really mean it. Like Hillary Clinton literally said that. You got to say what you got to say to be able to win. I'm
Yeah,
paraphrasing.
yeah, exactly. That's what happens. And I'm not willing to do that. So a lot of people get on me about certain things that I won't say or talk about, or, you know, it's like the Trump thing. Like they want me to stand up every day and say Trump, Trump, Trump. And it's like my campaign has nothing to do with Trump. And I mean, he's our president, but my campaign is about me in California. So I don't know why
Interesting.
it has to be a big issue, like why people
Interesting.
so
So,
obsessed with
yeah,
that.
I had no idea that people were pressuring you that way.
Oh, all the time. All the time. So
I think it's refreshing that you're saying, I'm going to concentrate on California. Whatever happens in the federal elections doesn't affect this state other than they control the purse strings many ways, but I have no problem with if the federal government got out of business, period. I don't think that they have that right to be establishing these huge bureaucracies, Department of Education and that kind of crap. Get out, stop meddling in all this stuff, and let states do what they're going to do. And if we
well
don't
it,
like it,
it's
we will move out.
it's one of them things no different than farming. So if I'm out here farming my field and I'm on the ground doing it, I know the job's getting done. If I'm in 5 states away arguing over an email or a pencil, whatever, like how do I know it's getting done? How do I know it's even happening? It's you can't. So it's time that we get off the news because the news is a bunch of BS. Every day that those guys sit on behind a podium on the news creating drama is not good for our country. It's just not. And it's not good for the state too. It's like it's just a constant battle and we're spending millions of dollars on attorneys to do nothing, to fight back and forth. Today they're going to win here and the Democrats are going to win tomorrow, the Republicans are going to win the next day. It's just back and forth. And all it is wasting taxpayer money
Well,
to
that's
get
the
in this
problem
way.
in California. Republicans aren't winning anything.
No, and they're
They
not
have a
they're not
super
gonna win
majority.
anything because of their mindset. The GOP far right Republicans aren't gonna win shit. Sorry. They're not going to because they're so stuck in their old ways. They don't realize that times have changed. Democrats are a little bit smarter. They know the times have changed and they're playing the new rules. The Republicans aren't. So same old rhetoric, same old story, same old BS. And we just keep on losing.
We
So
just keep on losing. Exactly. How many
sorry.
now these millionaires and billionaires are moving out of the state. Chevron's gone. Phillips 66 shut down their refinery. Vallejo has shut down their refinery in Benicia. Anheuser-Busch left. They left out of Fairfield. They're no longer there making their beer. That was a tremendous hit on that local economy, and it's going to spread. This is absolutely unsustainable, but it's not by accident, David. I'm quite convinced all of this is happening to bring down the state of California financially, to collapse it, so you can bring on death and destruction and annihilation of the United States of America. If I would have listened to myself a year ago, I would have, oh, CharLee's gone conspiracy theory. But no, it seems quite evident to me that that is the ultimate goal. How do we stop that as conservatives? Even if you become governor of the state of California, when you have an entire wall on the left that's going to fall on you.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be tough, but I think there is some, I hate to say it, but I was listening to Gavin Newsom yesterday about fuel prices and what he was arguing with I think Ben Shapiro about. Everybody wants to put that there's $2 a tax on gas and then with a stroke of a pen it's going to be gone. It's not true. Yeah, there's taxes on gas, but there's also companies making the prices high too, not just the state. So it's like I go to my local gas station up here. The right side of the road is $4.99 a gallon. The left side of the road is $5.99 a gallon. That isn't because of Gavin Newsom. That's because those companies are charging more because of whatever it may be they're doing, and one has cheaper fuel, one has more, more expensive fuel. So it's you got to figure that out. Regulations that choke down, oil companies, yes, that hurts. Um, how do you stop those companies from, charge price gouging? Well, I think supply and demand, and that's what Gavin Newsom kind of said was, the more supply, then these companies have to compete when there's not much supply. So is he cut, with these refineries going, is he cutting back the supply on purpose so we don't have, so the price goes up because there's not as much fuel? Like it's like, I believe back in 2016, 17, 18, when fuel prices, like I paid $1.80 a gallon for diesel at my farm back then. It was probably because we had an abundance of oil and they needed to move it. Like because we were getting all this oil from everywhere, all our reserves were plumb full. So now all of a sudden fuel prices drop. Um, I don't know if that's currently what the president's trying to do with this whole Venezuela thing and, for oil. Um, you know, ev-
Successfully. It's
yeah.
working because
So,
the rest of the nation's paying under $3 a gallon. Some places under $2 a gallon.
well, I was in Bakersfield the other day and I paid 3.25 for diesel. And then where I live, I can go out here to the reservation and get it for 3.99 a gallon. So, but you go to the gas station up the road 10 miles and it's five something a gallon. It's that isn't just, I mean, because of taxes. Yeah, the reservation has a little bit tax exempt from some of the fuel stuff. Um, I was gonna look into see if they have like a different fuel standard. I'm not sure if reservations do or not. Um, because that fuel standard BS, that hurts it too when they got to make specific fuels for California.
Oh, the summer
Um,
blend, the
yeah,
summer
all
blend.
that BS. So, I think Newsom's argument was, well, if you get rid of regulations, that means the oil companies are just going to make more money because they're not going to pass that savings on to you. So how do you do that? Like, I
Like
mean,
hell, they don't. Of course they will, because they're competing against each other.
yeah,
So
so
you,
they're all in it for profits. I mean, that's what it's about, right? Um, I think it's interesting when I hear other candidates go, "Oh, with the stroke of a pen, we're going to lose $2 a gallon on day one." It's like the next day is not going to be $2 a gallon less at the pump. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work that fast. So
not that fast, but it will work
it'll help for sure. I
because we
agree.
will
Like,
eventually start going to where my biggest frustration is not with the oil companies. And if they make more profit, more power to them. They're in business.
well, that's right. That's the point of business, right? I mean,
But
that,
if you decrease the supply, they're going to know that they can charge more for something because there's less of it. But the frustration I have, David, is my own fellow Californians. There'll be, as you just described, one gas station on one side of the road and the other one. This one on this side is a full dollar less per gallon, but yet on the other side, there'll be just as many vehicles in there fueling. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
why didn't you go over there and take advantage of paying less? And we're so completely stupid when it comes to this because I've asked, why would you go over there? I've asked this before. Well, it's on my side of the road that I was traveling. So this way I don't have to turn around and go back. If I go on the other side of the road, I'll have to make a U-turn to head back the direction I was going. So we'll pay $1 more per gallon just because it's a little bit more convenient. That attitude, they know that most people have that kind of attitude, so they can get away with it. Why would they charge less if they don't have to?
Yep, yep,
The profit margins of these gas station owners is so thin. They
for sure.
make, I
Yeah,
mean,
and so that's
they
the
make
other thing too.
pennies on a gallon of the fuel
The
that they're
gas stations
supplying.
themselves really aren't. It's the oil companies that's the big thing. But also it's when prices are high and regulations for trucking and all that. I mean, people don't realize that our fuel comes in on trucks, from the refinery. It's not pipelined in from the refinery to the gas station. They think that that's where it comes from is in the ground. And it's like, no, a big truck comes in the middle of the night usually and dumps a big old tank of fuel in the holding tanks at the gas station. Well, that
I lost you. Are you there? Shoot. Well, while we're waiting for David Collenberg to come back on, I'm going to ask you to do two things. One, please hit that like button right here. That helps with the algorithms. When you like a show, anybody's show, it helps on the platform that we're on. For example, me with Rumble, rumble.com/do not talk. You hit that like button or you comment down below or do both, please. That'd be nice. And while you're there, actually follow this channel. That helps as well. It's a whole algorithm thing, and you'll be helping promote this show, and more people will see it. And thank you for the support so much. Thank you for your support. Speaking of support, I want to introduce you to nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons. That QR code right there will take you right to the website. You can get a 10% discount by using my name as your promo code, or just put it in the URL, Nueva, 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 Spanish for life, nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons. I think you'll really like the products that are on there, and they're naturally derived and United States of America, baby. That's it. All right, David, welcome back.
being remote California, internet likes to cut out on you. So
Yeah, I
got
got you.
disconnected there for a second. Sorry.
Okay, well, we were covering all the fuel and so on, and you mentioned a candidate that says on day one he'll get rid of that $2 per gallon fuel tax, and you're saying he can't do it. You're talking about Steve Hilton, and you're saying
Well,
that
I
he
think
will
a
not.
few of the I think a few of the top ones have said stuff like that, and they're using it as a campaign promise, and it's I would love to see that happen. I just personally don't think it's going to happen like that. I just don't see it. We're going to lose $2 a gallon on day one, and I think that
Yeah.
they're making a promise they can't keep. I think we can get in there and do things, but I mean, I know they're going to maybe try to sign some executive orders and do whatever, but I don't foresee it coming down the pipe, to the fuel station that quick.
As a farmer, and somebody who's very involved in getting your product to market, so that's why fuel prices are so important. You want to see a decrease at the stores of products prices, lower fuel costs. It really will have a
Absolutely.
dramatic effect.
It will. That and emission regulations on trucks. Every hoop we have to jump through to have a truck on the road.
Yeah, what's that DAF crap? That
Yeah,
was a Newsom thing that you have
the
to put
diesel
into
exhaust
diesels.
fluid.
You had to
Yep.
retrofit every diesel powered vehicle with some kind of tank to hold this stuff that's supposed to filter out anything that I don't know. Do diesels have catalytic converters?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
make diesel engines now that are almost zero emissions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with my new truck that takes DEF. What the issue is the maintenance that it takes to keep this truck on the road. It's my old truck that had none of this stuff. A breakdown cost me a couple $100 if something happens. Any day of the week, this truck could lose a engine module. It could lose a DEF system or any of that. You're $5,000 to $30,000. I mean, it's insane. And then you have to take it to the dealer to get it diagnosed, or somebody who has a computer to diagnose it and, run these tests. And I mean, it's just insane. It just chokes down the engines and it's a problem. So,
And that's
um,
why truckers aren't even coming to California now. That's
yeah,
a
a lot of
big
truckers,
deal, and
well,
nobody's talking about that. We're not getting goods and products delivered to the state of California if it's coming in from out of state, because the truck drivers are starting, especially the independent ones, own their own rigs, are saying, forget it. We can't even comply with what's going on. They've made it impossible to bring these products into California.
yeah, so any of the independent guys for sure that I know, they won't come to California. Like and it's not just the emission stuff. There's a lot of CHP stuff, rules for California that you don't have in other states. You know, and if you go get a DOT number in Oregon and go apply for all your stuff, you could be trucking in a day. California, it's like 30 days. So when you have a
But yet
truck with
they'll give 117,000 illegals a commercial driver's license to haul these big rigs all around the nation.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've kind of done away with that class A in a day, and now you have to go to school. You have to do it. I know in California you have to do a 2 week school now versus before, if you could just pass the test, you got your license. Like, I mean, you do class
But
A in
many
a
of them
day.
didn't pass the test. For example, that one that caused the death of those three people in Florida who was from California could read only a couple, could cite only a couple of the rules and regs that you were supposed to be able to pass to get this class A. Somebody pushed him through, and he's not
Well,
even here legally.
so I had to renew I have a commercial class A license and I had to renew it in November because mine was expiring. So when I went into DMV and took the test, you do it on a computer. You don't do a printed test no more where you you read it, fill in the dots. It isn't that way no more. It's on the computer. Well, there's every language on that computer. So anyone from another country just goes and picks their language and then it spits it out in their language. So if they're taught that through the class A school that they go to, that has their language and then they go in and do it. I mean, yeah, they're not doing it in English.
Have you
So
seen the pages of languages offered in any kind of California state government program? There's the
it's
last two
everyone.
pages
It's like
is
every
page
language there
front
is.
and back of any and every single kind of language you could think of. How much does that cost us to do that? And then
Oh,
you have to have an interpreter if any of them are brought up on for any kind of questioning. It's crazy. California has become a wasteland of stupidity.
yeah, it's crazy. If they I think for at least for the commercial license, like you should be doing it in English so you can read the road signs and stuff like because on the test it has like what does this sign mean? And if like how isn't that translated over, so who knows what those tests are even saying on when you pick a different language. I've never seen one, but
Right.
um I think it should be done in English for sure if we have that's our road signs. Like I would not want to go to another country, not be able to read the road signs and then get a license to be able to drive around. Like I need to know what those road signs are, right? Because I mean, we have road signs that you go down a 7% grade hill. Like, how does somebody that doesn't know how to read that know that that hill is going to be 7% grade so you don't go flying down it in a semi and burn up your brakes? Like, I mean, it's great. Or sharp bends. Like, how do you know you need to go 30 miles an hour, not 55 because you're going in a curve, so you don't flip your truck over? I mean, it's just common sense. Um, I don't have a problem with anyone driving truck as long as they know what they're doing and they know what the signs are and they know the law and they know what they're supposed to do.
And they're here
So
legally.
yeah, yeah.
How about that? What would you do as governor to end that? How much control would you have over the Department of Motor Vehicles that seems to be running roughshod over everything? Oh, by the way, all you gun owners who don't want to register to vote because you don't want the government involved in what you're doing, first of all, you already had to go through a DOJ clearance, so believe me, you're on a list. And but a lot of them I've had confess, yeah, I don't want to be bothered for jury duty because it used to be if you were registered to vote, you were automatically going to be assigned jury duty at least once every couple of years. It's not through your registration to vote anymore. It's through the DMV. The DMV is now controlling that. People don't know that.
Yeah, I mean the whole
The DMV's become like the IRS in California.
oh, it's bad. It's really
Mhm,
bad. And
mhm.
registration fees and everything that goes with it. And then what's crazy is if DMV brings in all the money that they bring in, but then they have to only be open like 2 days a week because they don't have staff, they don't have the funding. How do they not have the funding when they're bringing in as much money as they are every single day of the week?
You know
It's
these
insane.
DMV offices in different towns and so on that are now only open a couple of days a week. You know what they were doing? Why they had these other days off? They were actually still there working, but they weren't working on you and making sure you were legally operating a vehicle and that you had the proper licensing and so on. No, no, no. They were processing illegals. That was from a friend of mine who works for the DMV. Yeah, they're making us process illegals. That's what we're doing on the days that we're supposedly closed to the public.
Yeah, I mean, it must be different areas. Like up here, there's multiple DMV offices, and so the other one will be open the days that the other one's not open. So I think they're just moving employees around. from one to the other. And I've had people email me about like telework that work for DMV, and there was some issues with that, and why they had to go to the office, and if they're just doing telework at home, and why couldn't they just be at home. I don't know too much about it. I kind of just learned about that the other day. I was like, oh, you do DMV telework at home?
You
So
become governor, buddy. You're going to have to gear up on a lot of stuff, aren't you?
oh yeah, for sure. Well, no, I learn new stuff every single day about this stuff. It's insane the stuff you see and hear, and then trying to figure out whether it's true or not. Like I see stuff online all the time, and I'm like, oh, but then I go and I audit it and go, well, they're full of baloney. Like people are just putting out stuff, and they aren't even fact checking it, and it's
No.
so much misinformation.
On
It's not
both
even funny.
sides.
On both sides, absolutely. I see stuff about Gavin Newsom, Eric Swalwell, all these guys, and they change one word in the post, and it makes it completely different, and it's not even true. And it's like, you guys keep putting out this false rhetoric and fake news and whatever, and everybody's believing this. We're not going to move California forward. We're not going to move
So,
the
'cause
country forward.
they're doing and saying whatever they need to get votes.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
it's all clickbait stuff, so they get likes and follows and shares
And
on
then
their
there's
stuff.
that.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's
And then
that's what
there's
it
that.
is. And then the divide, you
I
got the
have,
far left and the far right making this huge divide and making everybody fight and causing chaos is just stupid. So,
yeah, well, I wouldn't throw the far right under the bus. At least they're saying something and doing something and trying to make some change. I'm glad that they're finally waking up and getting involved myself. I'm
well, they
glad.
need to. They need to. So, it's time that, you know, we get this stuff figured out and fixed and
They've sat
quit.
around for too long. They've sat around for and if I hear another person say, "Well, my vote doesn't count anyway," where I'm gonna no, it counts all right. The left uses it in the way they've set up different ways to cheat. They've set it up to where your vote will get used. It'll get used against you. It happened to Kim Yater, the one who put together
Yep.
last week that
Yep.
debate
Her and
that
her
you were a
husband.
part of.
Yep.
I was there.
Yep.
Yeah, they showed up to vote and they said, "Oh, no, you've already voted."
Yep.
That's real. That's happening.
Yeah, and
I
it's crazy because a lot of these people I believe are genuine people, but for me, like I go down to my little local vote. I mean, my population is 600, right? So this isn't a big voting area, so we're not going to get much fraud, right? Because there's really nothing to. I mean, all of a sudden, if you go from 600 population to all of a sudden you have 6,000 votes, we got a big issue, right? That isn't going to happen. But anyways, I go down and I vote in person. And when I walk in the door, there's three or four little old ladies there, super nice, and they just have a
God bless
book.
them.
They
I
have a
love
book
them.
this thick of ballots, and they go, "Oh, okay. Well, did you bring your ballot? If not, we'll void that one and give you this one, and you go vote. Put it in the machine. You stand right there when he puts it in the machine, and you go on your way." Well, I mean, if it's that easy to get that thick of a book of ballots and you could be alone with that machine, like, who knows what's going in those things. So, not that my local office would ever do that because there's not enough voters, but in big areas, like, what's going on, and I think that whole voter reform and voter thing that's happening in Shasta that gets eyes on the deal is very smart, just to rule out any of that stuff,
Yeah.
because who knows what's happening. But people do need to get out and vote, regardless if you think your vote counts or not. I think it's important. I mean, it really doesn't take much time out of your life. I mean, it's what for me it takes me about 30 minutes to go down there and vote. Even if it didn't count or if my vote wasn't enough, I still gonna make the effort to do it. And everyone needs to make that effort. Um, People need to get their young adults involved. They need to get everybody involved, because it's a huge thing, and it's time that we step up and make things happen. So
It's what has made us the great nation that we are, is the fact
absolutely,
that we have that freedom that many others do not.
I
So
agree.
please don't throw that away, and please get registered to vote. Registered to vote.ca.gov. Registered to vote.ca.gov. get registered to vote. And I don't care what, but you do no party preference. I don't care. Just please
Sure,
get
yeah.
registered.
Yeah, just get registered to
If
vote.
you're
So,
disgusted with the Republicans, okay, fine. Just get registered to vote and then actually frickin' show up. It's never been easier, especially with the mail ballots,
yeah.
which I despise and I think needs to go away. But the bottom line is it's never been easier. And people are leaving it sitting on the counter and never even reading through it. And we got to start taking this seriously. We need you now more than ever this coming June in the
Yep.
primary election, because in California with their jungle primary, elections are won and lost at the primaries. So that's coming up in June. And we got to decide who we want to go to the big election in November, representing us as a gubernatorial candidate, David Kallenberg. Do you have all your signatures? Are you gonna? Because I
So,
think you have
so I
March.
just
You got
got
to have
this.
everything ready.
I
What?
just got this today from the county for my signatures, so I can at least get my nominations. So we're going to start that today and start getting those signatures. Yeah, so it's time to go. I think it's 65 minimum to not be on the to be able to do it. So that shouldn't be hard. I'll have that done in a day or two. But
65 total, 65 people in your
you have to
area.
have 65 minimum for nominations to be able to be on the ballot. But you can get up to, I think it's somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000, so you don't have to pay. So I got to
Oh, a
figure out
minimum of 65, regardless
minimum
of what area
65.
you're in. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
minimum
you
of
still will have
65.
to actually pay a filing fee, won't you?
Yeah, unless I
And isn't
get
it?
like 6,000 or 7,000 signatures. So
Okay.
if you get 6 or 7,000, you don't have to pay a filing fee.
So you're saying 65, you mean 6,500.
No. So if you to not get nominated to where you can actually run for governor, you have to have 65 of these signatures verified. Just
That's it?
65, just to be able to be nominated, to be able to be on the ballot. And then if you want to pay the filing fee, you can pay it outright. If not, you can collect
How much
signatures.
is it?
I think it's every signature is like 82 cents or something.
No, how
Um,
much is it if you just say, "Oh, forget it, I'm gonna pay the fee to
um,
run"?
I'll pull it up real quick because I was just
It's
looking
like
at it.
almost $6,000, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost $6,000. Let me see what it says here. I've seen a few different things on it. So this is saying it's $3,916, but I thought, so 7,000 valid signatures is what you need to carry to get through to not have to pay. For the filing fee,
Okay.
it's $3,916.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder where that money goes, by the way. Why do you have to pay to run for governor?
Well, I think
Or for any office.
you'd have 800 candidates on there all signing up. So I think it keeps the
Okay, and
frivolous people running
go
from
for
governor.
it.
Well, that's the issue.
That
That's
would
the
make
issue
it.
happening right now is there's 103 governor candidates. And you know, on the Republican side, I know of at least 4 candidates that are not going to back out and not back somebody else. So we're going to run into a situation where there's potentially a split vote. And it's like I've been at the point of like, well, I don't want to be the guy to split the vote, so I will back out and back somebody else. Who that might be, I still up in the air on it. If I don't feel that I can make it happen, but we're already in a situation where the vote will be split but they may not be a lot of votes. So, I think the last election, Democrats had Gavin Newsom. He got 3.9 million votes. They knew he was going to be the one, right? So you see his name at the top, and then all of a sudden you see 10 Republicans below him. One has 250,000, one has 1.2 million, one has 250,000, one has 90,000. So these people are like, oh, well, Bianco should back out and support Hilton. Hilton should back out and support Bianco because they're going to split the vote. Um, it's going to be split anyways. It's going to be split in 10 different ways. So now, can we get enough to be that second ticket? If the Democrats run Katie Porter and Swalwell side by side, they may get enough votes to where there ain't even a Republican on the ticket. So,
That's the jungle primary I mentioned
yeah,
earlier,
yeah. So
which has
it's
been
going to be interesting to
catastrophic
see.
for Republicans.
It's going to be
Catastrophic.
interesting to see who, March 6th, I think, is the last day you can, it's 4th or 6th that you can drop your name from the ballot. And so it'll be interesting to see what Democrats do between now and the 4th of March, and Republicans. But I do know there are Republican candidates that are not dropping out for nobody, and they will be on that ballot, and there's going to be a lot of them. Um, so it's I'm in a rock and a hard spot because I have a lot of traction. I have a lot of people that are supporting me, and I don't want to be the guy that splits the vote of like, oh well, he got 500,000 votes and that's all it would have took for us to have a Republican governor. I don't want to be that guy, right? But right now the top two that are in the polls, it's not a good look for California. I don't believe that they are going to be, they're not, they might make it through the primary, but they're not going to make it through the general election. I don't think so. I
So
think it's
after the
too
first
much.
week of March, that's when we're going to have to rally. We're going to have to come together and go, okay, this is our guy. This is the one
Yeah.
who we
Yeah.
decided we're going to get behind for the primary election to decide
Yeah.
who's going to be going to the big election in November. So
Yeah,
after
for
the
sure.
first week of March, it sounds like that's when we're really going to have to come together.
Yeah, so well,
We're screwed.
that's when people have to back out. If they're not going to be, I hate to say it, some of these guys are really genuine guys, but they're not going to get any votes. They don't have the momentum, they don't have the steam, they don't have the name recognition. And I'm not saying I have a lot of name recognition either, but I get millions of views a month. I get hundreds of thousands of comments a month on my social media. I got people out the wazoo that are approaching me. So some of these other guys, they got like 1,000 followers on Facebook, and that's all they got. And they don't, they go to a couple meetings and it's just not enough. Like they're going to have to put in a lot more work. And, I mean, you've said it before, like guys like me, we're shadow banned. Like the GOP
Oh,
ain't going to recognize us. We're not going to get any kind of. And so that's where I've been waiting to just kind of, okay, well, if I'm going to be in the top of this, somebody's going to have to move out of the way. And who that's going to be, we're going to have to find out and see. So, I think these top two candidates have a lot of issues on both sides. And I think that one of them is going to probably turn out the lowest voter, whatever, in history if he gets in there. And the other one is a rhino Democrat lover. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just not good look. And so I don't know how he gets past that. Um, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I've met a lot of these guys, and a lot of them are great guys, and a lot of them have, very powerful stuff. But what I'm seeing is people do not want a politician in office. And that's what I bring is I'm not a politician in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to be a politician. I'm not going to go into this and then in the future become a politician. It's not who I am. It's not what I want to be. I want to be a farmer. Um, but somebody's got to step in and fix California. And it's
this
not
is
going to be a
how we.
politician.
This is how our nation was founded, and it was you. You were not supposed to have these lifers in there in the Senate and Congress, running again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's not supposed to be like that. That's not how this constitutional republic was designed. It was people like David who left the farm, came in, represented his fellow people in his area, and do what's best for them. That's how we were set up. That's how we were designed. But it has become this monolithic catastrophe.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing that I try to tell people on this whole situation going on right now is go to the top two people polling on the Republican side and read the comment sections on all their social media. And when your party is roasting you all day long by the thousands, how are we going to get that over a finish line? How are they going to move past that? Like, I mean, I see so many people that I know personally and that I've talked to just lighting these people up and posting not good things. And, obviously, if I had the steam they had, I'd probably having the same thing happening to me. So I don't know how we overcome that to turn out millions of votes.
And
I
then you
mean,
got the people who are like, well, my guy didn't make it, so I'm not going to vote.
oh yeah, it's crazy. Like, even if your guy doesn't make it and we have a Republican on the ticket, you need to go vote for him because it will be better than any of the alternatives. Um, and it's just, but there's got to be change, and there's got to be change in California. It can't be this continuously fighting on the news with the president and other politicians and getting nowhere. Um, you're not going to do this and fix California standing behind a podium. It's not going to happen. I refuse to stand behind a podium. If I go to an event, I am not standing behind a podium. It's not going to happen because I'm not a politician. I'm not going to.
I don't want politicians running my government anymore. I want successful business people who know how to
No,
run.
and that's the thing. That's why I've gained so much traction with what I've been doing is because I'm authentic. I'm not a politician. I'm not willing to engage in all the political BS. And I want true change for California. And I'm going to be out there right in the streets fixing the problems and seeing what's going on. I'm not going to be sitting in an office behind a desk going, oh, well, there's this problem in Southern California. I'm going to be down there figuring it out on the ground. Like, that's the only way it happens. Like, I couldn't run my farm if I wasn't here. I mean, it would just go to crap. So it's time that we have leadership that's actually boots on the ground, and that's my goal. And so it's just we got to quit electing politicians. We got to quit electing these propped up candidates that they say right now the Democrats are pushing these two Republican candidates because they know they can beat them, and they're funding them because they know they can beat them. And I'm half tempted to believe it, but I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, so I don't know. It's just what you hear. But um, it sure looks that way. I mean, hard to say.
You think that Eric Swalwell could actually beat Steve Hilton when it comes to any kind of a
I
or
don't.
Chad Bianco? Because those are the two front runners for the Democrat or the Republican Party.
Well, so here's another thing I've heard. I've heard that they have Swalwell and Porter running, and then right before March 4th, here comes Kamala. Like,
Yep.
will that happen? I don't know. Maybe. But if she got in there, she'd win, and that would
You
be
think
bad
so?
news. Well, I mean, if you look at, she got 11 million votes in California when she ran for president. The Republicans only got 6 million something. So, you know, if she turned out that voter base, we'd be screwed. I mean, I don't know. Hard to say. But, could Swalwell beat Hilton? Um, I think in a way because there's a lot of people that won't vote for Hilton. It's not that he's going to turn out to where a lot of people just won't vote for him because and here's one of the biggest things that I've seen lately is his lieutenant governor pick used to be a Democrat. And people are loyal to their party. So if you flip-flopped, they ain't voting for you. It's
That
just
doesn't make
not
any
happening.
sense to me though, because Ronald Reagan was a Democrat. Donald Trump was a Democrat. People can change. People can grow.
No, for
You're,
sure. I agree. I agree they can, but I think right now with what is going on and how the world has become, if they basically are calling them rhinos or uh, you know, they're just flip-floppers and because it's like what I've seen on the Hilton side is that Hilton is a Democrat, was the lieutenant governor was a Democrat, and they are basically running on
Hilton's
the
always
Republican.
been conservative. Hilton was a conservative in England. He worked for the
For sure. I understand that. I'm just telling you what I see people saying online. Um, people won't vote for him because he's from another country and he wasn't,
but yet they voted for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
for sure. And wasn't he illegal when he came here?
I don't know about that.
I think that's
I
something I
just know
seen
he
on
wasn't from
last
here.
night. Yeah,
And he
and
had his
so,
outrageous accent.
but he was
But I'm
also
not going to vote for
famous.
Steve
So
Hilton because he's originally from England. Well, he's actually
I thought he was Hungarian or something.
he is Hungarian. Yeah, his family
You know,
is. Yeah.
but I mean, I've met him. I've talked to him. He's a nice guy, and he's got a powerful voice. Um, I just think that we're right back in that politician, thing that people don't want, and people don't want, you know, a lot of people don't want somebody that was a Democrat at one time recently. Maybe Donald Trump was 20, 30 years ago, but that was back when Democrats were more Republican or conservative than they are
I
now.
don't think Steve Hilton was ever a Democrat. Steve Hilton's always been a conservative.
It
I,
could
I
be to do with his wife.
there it
You're
is.
right.
Because of
Um,
her job with what was it, Google or something like that. Yeah.
Something like
Uh,
that. But he also did that crowd fund thing that did the George Floyd thing that people are all up in arms about now.
Steve
So he
Hilton did that.
Yeah, so he created something where for crowd fund or something where you get funding for
Is that
whatever.
another one of those social media things that you read?
Yeah, so
I
this
would be
was
very
his.
surprised if that were true.
It's been all over the news, so I don't know. But anyways,
There's a lot
basically,
of things
I
that
don't
are
know if it's
all
like
over the news, and I don't buy them.
if it's like a GoFundMe thing type thing where, but obviously, I don't think he was there like part of it. I think he created something and then the whole George Floyd thing got involved with it and used it to fund money. They're
Okay,
trying to
all
say he
right.
like funded money or he created something that funded money where people could get funding for,
But
I
he
don't know,
didn't create
activism.
it for the George Floyd
No, no,
protesters and
no. He
Black
didn't
Lives
create it
Matter.
for that. No, he just
Right.
created the thing that they were using. So people were all up in arms about that. Um,
Okay.
and so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I just think that both those guys are gonna have a real tough time with the issues that are being brought up. The comments I see in the comment section, um, because I was very for Steve Hilton for a long time. Like I thought, okay, he's probably got this, like for sure. Um, just because what he's been doing, I've talked to him in person, I've had conversations. Um, I just think it's kind of starting to change a little bit with what has come about with his new lieutenant governor. People are not happy about that. Um, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't still support him. I don't have anything bad to say about him as a person because I don't, I've never seen him do anything personally bad. Um, the I do know that Bianco, I've never met him. I don't know anything about him. I can't say anything bad about him because all I've heard was what is on the news, right? So you're going off of what you see on the news and videos that are popping up, stuff like that. I have seen him in a debate in person with Steve Hilton. And one of the big things was for me is he was on the debate kind of being disrespectful to the people that had the church. We were in a church, and then he was saying that we got all our oil from Iran and we were making Iran rich, and that was like, I don't believe that's true. So I haven't heard him come out with a statement where he corrected that. Maybe he was,
Saudi Arabia, yes, but Iran, no, I don't think so either. But
yeah. So
I
that
don't
was the
know.
last debate in Garden Grove where he said that we were getting all our oil from Iran and we were making Iran rich. So yeah, we do mess up, and maybe he at the time he was heated because he had got called out about his kneeling thing, and I don't know if he was thinking
I've
of
seen him get very
Iraq or
defensive over that. He gets very, very angry. It would have been an easy fix if he would have just said, "Yeah, I knelt. It was. I thought it was the best thing at the time because I was trying to keep the town and the county where I am sheriff from suffering through yet another destructive protest in the evening. So yeah, I took a knee. I probably shouldn't have. I wish I wouldn't have." But yeah, I did it. If he would have just fessed up, but no, he is. I mean, saying that he was praying is just crazy. I've not only seen the video, but I showed it on my show more than
so,
once.
so
Uh,
that's what hundreds of thousands of people say. They say the same thing you said. And so, how is he going to overcome that? And, my other
Not
thing
by
is,
getting angry and defensive. That's for
no, for
sure. I've
sure.
seen him do it.
The other thing that I think is rubbing people really wrong is that he's goes on stage and says, "I'm the most well-respected sheriff in the entire country. I'm by far the most this and that in my town." And um, I don't have a problem with somebody being proud of who they are and what their job is, but there's so many men and women in service that are just as equal as him. So I wouldn't say he's number one in the country. He's one in however many others that are just as good as him. And
And I also have a problem with him repeatedly saying that if we don't elect him to go to the main, no one else can win. He's the only one who could actually win. So if you don't vote for me, we're not going to get a Republican as a governor. I'm it.
I think he's really hoping that he's going to be the Nevada sheriff that won, and I don't think it's going to work out that way. Um, Here's my problem: is everybody who is supporting him and making Facebook pages for him, they attack me
Really?
all the time, all the time, constantly on. I mean, you could just go through my social media and look at comments and see all the attacks from people who support him, and it's like, dude, we're on the same team. Like we're both fighting for the same thing. Like it's just crazy. I mean, I put out, how I feel about it. Like, the whole kneeling thing. Do I think he did what he had to do to protect people? Yes, he did. Like he did, everything he could do to protect the people in his community, and nobody got hurt. There's nothing wrong with that. Do I think that people are upset that he took a knee and didn't just say, "Hey, I had to do what I had to do to, de-escalate the situation"? He brought prayer into it, and nobody has yet heard or seen the prayer being said or done. And people who are religious are very upset about that, because if you're using that to change the narrative of the situation,
Yeah.
I think it's a problem. So
So do
I
I.
just think he should come out and say, "Hey, you know, I did what I had to do to de-escalate the situation." That simple.
Yeah.
Um, trying to,
I'd have a
but
lot
he's
more
got.
respect for him. I would have a lot
I
more respect for him if he would have
I
done that.
think a
Too
lot of
late now,
people
though. It's
would.
too late. He is just too well ensconced in that fairy tale that he keeps promoting.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't I don't know. So, and I mean, here's the other thing too. I wasn't there, you weren't there. We don't know the situation actually in person. All we can do is watch a video and make assumptions. So it's you know, and I mean,
Good
I don't
point.
know. I
You're
just
right.
I don't like to, because somebody asked so I was on a debate in Shasta the other night, and the question was, did I believe the 2020 election was stolen? And here's my thing on that: I have no clue. I wasn't there. I didn't count the votes. I don't know any of that stuff. All I know is what's on the news. So do I believe the news and say, yes, I believe that the 2020 election was stolen because it was on the news? Well, it's kind of the same thing going on with that situation. Do we believe the news? Obviously, we can see it. Obviously, the 2020 election, we couldn't see it. We just heard it. But I can't. I'm not going to go on there and say, "Oh, I believe it was stolen because everyone else says it was, and because the news says it was." I don't know, and I'm not going to, go and say something that if I don't know, just because I assume or whatever. And that's just who I am. So,
Well, how do we find you? How do we follow what you're doing? And do you have a website with
oh
your
yeah, so yeah,
platform
my
and your different
website.
solutions?
Yeah, my website's collenberg26.com. I have all the stuff I plan to do on there. You can go on there and get merch. You can make a donation. You can check out everything I plan to do on day one. You can check out all my plans for homeless, veterans, elderly, because those are most important, wildfires. Lots of information on there that I've put on there. And it's all on there from me. I don't have anybody doing it for me. So that stuff is raw from me, not someone else coming up with something to put on there. You can find me on Facebook, Collenberg for Gov 2026. I have
Is it called?
155,000 followers right
Wait a minute.
now.
Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Oh, that's your Facebook page.
My
Okay.
Facebook page. Face-
Collenberg for Gov
yeah, well, it's
2026.
Collenberg for Governor 2026.
Governor.
That's on Facebook, TikTok, X, Truth Social, and YouTube. What other one? There's all kinds of social medias.
Do you have anybody helping
Oh
you
yeah,
with this, or are you doing this all yourself plus running a business and a
I
farm?
I do all this myself. That's the animal I am. I'm a machine when it comes to work. So yeah, and I've done very well, and it's just a matter of time before my name breaks out. So
You're only going to get busier too. How are you going to keep your business going? Because
well,
you
I
can't just
got
let your field go fallow. You can't just leave it all
yeah,
there to
I
die.
can't farm it from Sacramento, that's for sure, right? So
Right.
I got family that'll help me out. There's options to make things happen. So, but like I've told people, if I don't, me and many other farmers won't be around. We're not gonna be able to hang on much longer.
No,
There's too
no, you
much.
can't.
The state is choking us way too much,
On
um,
purpose.
on
On
purpose.
purpose.
Well, it's just on false things that just
And then, like the I-5 corridor in California, where they starved out all those ranchers and farmers there with water, made it to where they couldn't even keep their crops, their orchards alive, and their livestock watered. It was insane. And now, who's coming up and buying all that land, pennies on the dollar?
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see because supposedly for the first time we're not in a drought anymore in California, but we haven't been in a drought for a long time. It's all man-made drought, and they just a way to
Thank you for
control
saying that.
everybody
You
and
saved me the
control,
trouble. Thank you.
but
Okay, buddy.
it's screwed up. So we got to get it figured out.
Got to spell his name right. See, it's a Berg, so it's Collen Berg 26, Collenberg 26, Collenberg26.com, right?
Yes, correct.
Good, because I would have hate to have said that many times and then had it been wrong. I have to start all over again. All right, my friend, get to it.
Yep,
You got some hay to get to market.
yep. So we'll talk soon.
All right, partner. There you go. Check them out. Definitely take some time. We got just a couple of months. Once it gets past March and we see who is actually staying in the fight and going to the end, then we got to rally behind somebody for the primaries in June. And we need you in that June election. We need you showing up. We need you voting. Please. And I need you to go to my website and buy some of this awesome merchandise, like this beautiful 15-ounce mug, big old mug. I got big hands. Look at that. My fingers fit in that handle. I love it. I love this mug so much. Let's talk about politics and religion, baby. That's what we do on Do Not Talk. And there's also hats and shirts, many other things, and not crazy priced either, like so many of these websites with these podcasters. I'll go and look at their product. I'm like, holy cow, what? Well, you're supporting the show, so you're paying $30 for some ratty hat. It's not like that on mine. Listen, I'm a po folk, just one of you. I'm lower middle class, so you can help me support me by buying some of the products on there, or just make a donation. There's several ways you can there at charliesimons.com, charliesimons.com. Oh, and do yourself a favor, go to nuevalife.com/charliesimons. Check out those American made products, great health products. You'll thank me for it. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America bless God.